Hello, YouTube. It's me, Quarterdeck Arcade, coming to you live from the Quarterdeck Arcade. Happy Super Bowl Sunday. I don't know how many of you that follow me are football fans. I'm kind of sort of a football fan. I'm not like a huge freak about it, but I do follow it and I do watch it. So today, Super Bowl, we got the Chiefs versus the Eagles. Who am I rooting for? The Eagles. Yep, got to stay in the division. So anyway, as much as I hate to root for the Eagles, but you know, got to root for the NFC, right? So hope they go far and have fun. So, geez, it's freezing down here today. I've got the space heater going, and yeah, it's a little bit crisp. When I came down here, it was like 54 degrees in the basement, and that's cold in my mind. So I've got the space heater running, and I've gotten set up for a GORF build today. We're going to talk about GORF here in a second. I want to just catch up, see how everybody's doing. Ted's here. Welcome, Ted. Good to see you. Yep, I'm excited too. And Hockey Town's here. Good morning. Excuse me. Forgot to hit the mute button. Okay. Yeah, I kind of got caught with I kind of got caught. I was upstairs in the kitchen and I looked at my watch and it was 10 o'clock and I'm like, oh crap, I got a show to go. So I got down here really quick. I did get a setup going. I took the day off from the gym today. I didn't really, it wasn't really any specific reason other than I felt like I should just give myself a break. So I didn't, I took a couple of Tylenol last night and then, slept in this morning and got about 9 hours of sleep, and then got some chores done. Got the bills paid. I got to the store to get dinner for tonight so we can watch the Super Bowl while we're eating dinner. And yeah, so things are looking good for me financially. You all who follow me for a while know that I had some difficulty earlier in the year in 2024. And so I had to sell off a bunch of my arcade. Much of it's come back. And the budget's looking good, actually. So I'm pretty happy about it. Pretty happy where I'm sitting right now. And that's that. So I'm itching to buy another arcade one-up cabinet. So we'll see what I decide to do. I have a cabinet in mind, but I'm kind of waiting to see if there's another sale, like a I don't know, an Easter sale or whatever. But I do have interest in a couple of cabs. There's a few cabs on Marketplace and that I'm kind of sort of interested in, but I don't know if I want to spend that cash right now. So I might just sit around for a while and wait and see what happens. The big thing I'm waiting for in the community is the GRS FU edition Build-A-Cade. So I'm really looking forward to that. Kind of setting money aside for it already. And when Glenn opens that up for pre-order, I'll hopefully be one of the first in line. So we'll see. Hockeytown says, did I see some of the new art for the Build-A-Cades? Yes, I did, actually. Let's pull that up. I'm going to put my eyes on now. I actually happen to have his page up. Let's see. Share out window. Let's go that. Boom. Okay, so Joe Zabel's page. Let me refresh it here because I haven't. Art kits. So he's added some art kits. Yeah, the punch outs. Was it not? So let's scroll through here. Why am I not able to scroll? Well, okay, so some of the options, I know he posted about it in Facebook. Let's go see if we can find that post. Let's see. Search the group. Pick that group. There we go. Super Mario Brothers. You guys aren't seeing that. So let me switch out here. Window. There we go. Now you guys can see it. So he's got a Super Mario Brothers kit now. So that'll probably include the well, it has to include the 3D piece to make a Glintendo type cabinet. And he's got Mario Brothers artwork. He's got a punch out. That's a slick looking cabinet. I think he's got two. He's got Super Punch Out and Punch Out. They're beautiful looking. None of this artwork. I might get Punch Out, but I'm kind of leading. Somebody gave me the idea in my head to get a Fix-It Felix, and I'm kind of thinking about doing that. Just going back to, I'm kind of jumping around here. Yeah, let's go back to that one. All right. So he's got Punch Out with 3D parts, Super Mario, Super Punch Out, and then you got the 3D parts. So you can get just the artwork, or you can get the artwork and the 3D parts you'll need to make it a Glintendo cabinet. So Play Choice 10, and then Mario Brothers. So I'm kind of thinking about a Fix-It Felix. I have Donkey Kong Jr. and Popeye already in-house. But that's what I'm leaning towards right now. So anyway, that's that. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about GORF before I jump into the actual build. I'm going to bring up, oh, are you serious? I had a picture of the cabinet, but it's, let's see if it brings it up. It will. Okay, here we go. Do a screen share. All right. I wish I could make that bigger. Sure can. All right, let's talk a little bit about GORF. This game came out in 1981. The designer was Jamie Fenton, and there is some Wisconsin ties for this cabinet. The designer was a student at UW Milwaukee here in the Milwaukee area, and she was working and studying there and going to school, and then she hooked up with a company called Dave Nutting Associates. And Dave Nutting Associates had a relationship with Bally Midway for research and development. And so Jamie went to work for Dave Nutting Associates and helped develop, really was the developer of the GORF cabinet. Now, trivia question, how many of you, for the sake of argument, know what GORF stands for? Anybody? Bueller? GORF stands for Galactic Orbital Robot Force. And that the name GORF actually was a play on a nickname that was given to Jamie when she was in college called Froggy. And so she pretty much flipped that around and gave it, the acronym meaning. So orbital or Galactic Orbital Robot Force. So a little bit of facts about another interesting thing about Jamie Fenton is she's also the designer of Robbie Roto. Many of you know Robbie Roto because that's a freeware game out there in mainland. Glenn includes Robbie Roto on his GRS Build-A-Cade images. And she let it be known that, the game didn't do very well in the arcades. So her reasoning was, well, the rights reverted to her after a time. So she's the sole holder of the rights to Robbie Roto. And she graciously allowed the MAME community to basically use it and as freeware. So y'all have Jamie Fenton, the designer of GORF, to thank for Robbie Roto. Some facts about GORF. There's the controller. There's it's just a joystick with a fire button in the joystick. One of the first games to have that. In fact, it is the first arcade game to have a joystick like this with the trigger button actually a part of the joystick. And there's player 1 and player 2 start. The unique thing about GORF is that you can coin in with 3 ships, but you can add a second coin and get up to 7 ships. So it all depends on what mood you were in that day. If you just felt like just doing 3 ships, you could pop it a quarter, or you can just go for 7 ships and try to make it to Space Avenger. Speaking of ranks, this game had a ranking system, and you can kind of see that here. And they were all backlit by light. And so you start out as a space cadet, and as you cleared all 5 levels, you would be promoted to space captain, and then space colonel, then space general, and then finally space warrior. I have been back in the day when I was still good at this stuff. I was able to get up to space warrior, and not easy now because I'm not using arcade accurate controls when I'm playing it on the Arcade 1-Up and on the Defender PartyCade. So my dream is to either buy an actual GORF, and there's a few for sale in the area. I just haven't saved up enough money to go get one, because I'd have to rent a truck and rent some padding and all that good stuff to protect it, and it would be a thing. You know, I would have to make a day of it, really, to go get it and bring it home. Or the other thought I had was to find another Tron, an Arcade 1-Up Tron on Marketplace, because the cabinet design shape is similar to the Tron cabinet for Arcade 1-Up. Then I just reskin it as a GORF, and then put a Raspberry Pi in there or whatever, and get it running GORF. So that would be a project. So all depends on, you know, which direction I decide to move. But so I mentioned there are 5 levels that get you promoted to the next rank level. There's the first one is Astro Battles, Laser. The second one is Laser Attack. Third one is Galaxians. Fourth one is Space Warp, and then the fifth one is Flagship. And there's various little tidbits about each level. You all, those of you that are familiar with GORF know that 2 of the levels are based on existing Bally Midway products, or well, one of them, the first one, Space Invaders, is a Taito game licensed to Bally Midway, and then the second one is Galaxian, which is also a Bally Midway product. So at the time, Midway had a relationship with both Taito and I'm going to get it wrong here. Taito and Namco. That's what I'm thinking. It's Taito and Namco. So they had a relationship. That's why how they were able to use Space Invaders as the first level. They didn't call it Space Invaders. It's called Astro Battles. But everybody that's played the game knows that those were based off Space Invaders. Same character design and everything. A little bit difference, you know, to the level, but and then the third level, Galaxians, was based off Galaxian. So the fourth level was a Space Warp, and then the fifth level, it was the boss level where you're attacking the boss ship, the flagship. So that's the game in a nutshell. Some interesting tidbits that I jogged down. And by the way, I did my research off Wikipedia and a couple other websites. So that's where just to let you know where I've gotten some of my facts for this. So Jamie Fenton, the designer of the game, led the team that designed the Bally AstroCade game system. So I don't know if any of you remember the Bally AstroCade. I don't have a picture pulled for that, but she was instrumental in designing that. And what they did was they took some of the integrated circuits that were made for that console and then used it in GORF. And some of those chips had sound capabilities. So one of the unique things about GORF is that it has a sound chip in it, and it basically taunts you as you play. And so that was one of the unique things, one of the early games to have speech synthesis. And the other interesting tidbit, which I found fascinating in doing my research today, is GORF began as a video game adaptation for Star Trek: The Motion Picture. Isn't that fascinating? I mean, when you think about it, you know, that would have been right around the same time. You know, you're basically a couple of years out from Star Trek: The Motion Picture being released, so they were looking to make a game based on that movie, but that idea was abandoned, and then the game was redesigned into something else. So it took about 1 year to develop GORF. I already talked about Taito and Namco having a relationship with Midway so that they were able to use the Space Invaders and Galaxian. The other interesting tidbit I found was that the fight with the flagship on the 5th level was based on the trench run from Star Wars. kind of like, firing something into a small thermal exhaust port and blowing up the ship. That concept there came from the trench run in Star Wars, and so that was fascinating to me. The other interesting, fascinating thing was the Galaxians level in the arcade version was not included in the ports because by that time, Bally had lost its relationship with Namco, and so they couldn't use the Galaxians level could not be included in the home ports. Speaking of home ports, I didn't talk about this, but the game has been ported many times. It's been ported for the Atari 8-bit, the 2600, and the 5200, the BBC Micro, the ColecoVision, and the Commodore 64 and VIC-20. I've played the Commodore 64 version. Didn't really like it. It's just not the same as the real thing, really. And last but not least, the last tidbit I have regarding this game is that there was a sequel being developed. She was working on a sequel called Mrs. GORF or Ms. GORF. I don't have any details of what that game would have included, but the game was abandoned when the arcade crash happened. They didn't proceed any further with it, and so she still has the game on 8-inch floppy disks, but it'll probably never see the light of day. As far as I would love to see it, I would love to see where GORF would have gone in the next iteration, but she says she'll try and put together some sort of video with the gameplay, because she does have that on videotape of the Ms. GORF gameplay. But yeah, fascinating facts. So 1981 was when this game originated. Okay. What's going on in the arcade? Not much. I do have some power. I have a thought about doing a video on power in the near future. I'm going to redo the power for all of my Build-A-Cades behind me. It's a mishmash of USB and AC/DC power, and I just want to get it standardized. And I've purchased some USB extension or USB hubs for that purpose. So I might do a video on that just to give you guys an idea what I use and how I go about using it for power, and give you guys some thoughts on some ideas on how to do yours. So that's coming up. Don't have any real mods. Don't have any mods really, other than just working on GRS Build-A-Cades. Like I said, I'm getting that itch to do some mods and do some builds. We'll see what happens. I had a good week. This was a good week. Got a lot done at work. I have a major project I've been working on for a year, and it looks like it's coming to a close, or at least to some sort of conclusion in April. So lots to do still, and I'm going to be spending a lot of time trying to get it done. But it's been a challenging project. It's caused me a lot of headaches, and but that's one of the reasons why I'm in this particular field of IT, is because I like challenges. So morning, Zero, good to see you. So you played GORF for the first time in the Defender Partycade. Yeah. A lot of people haven't heard of GORF. I get that all the time. Like the Numbskull people, when I try to put the idea in their head to make a GORF miniature, they're like, what's GORF? Because apparently GORF did not make it big over in Europe. So, or it wasn't very widespread over in Europe. So They didn't even know what GORF was before I told them about it. So won't be seeing a GORF from Numbskull, which brings me to our build. So since I can't get one from Numbskull, Quarter Arcades, or New Wave Toys, and who knows, New Wave Toys might do it at some point. Who knows? I thought, well, why not do it in my own GRS Build-A-Cade and with some artwork? And that was made possible because ArcadeGraphix posted some artwork a couple of weeks ago for GORF. And so that's what we're going to do. So I'm going to get switched over here and minimize all this stuff so I can see my cameras. One thing I'm going to do is step back and go get my tablet because I forgot to get that. Same thing as last week. So let's go to the wider view. I'm going to put on my microphone. No, Meatball Saucy, I'm not doing a flight stick for the Build-A-Cade. No. No, it's just going to be a regular joystick. A flight stick for a Build-A-Cade would be kind of impossible unless you were doing an external flight stick as a connected USB controller on the back. Okay. So we got that going. Minimize this stuff. Bear with me, folks. Just getting a little cleaned up here on my desktop. All right. So let me run upstairs real quick and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. Just getting set up here. Got my tablet so I can see what you guys are saying. All right. Okay. As you can see, I've already unboxed everything. If you want to see an actual unboxing, I mean, you can go back and check out one of my earlier GRS builds where I actually do the unpacking and Goofy Foot, good to see you. Wow, you're gonna turn Glenn's FU build into a GORF. That sounds great. That's a great idea, actually. All right, so we're gonna do artwork first. I'm gonna get my tape ready. All right, let's get started, hey? So this is ArcadeGraphix artwork. I've already cut it. When he sends it to you, he sends it to you in a shipping tube with, I don't have this light on. That's why it's dark. There we go. That's better. All right. So when he sends this to when he sends this to you, ArcadeGraphix, oh, I had it. Now I moved it, and it's rolled up on one sheet. I'll make sure I got this right. It looks a little off to me. That's better. So I spent a lot of quarters on this game back in the day. And there were two games that I got really good at. One was GORF, and the second one would be Dig Dug. Those two games, I got really good at. I don't like this. I'm going to redo it. Don't like the way the artwork's setting. But I got to the point with GORF that people were actually watching me play. You know how you get good at a game, and you can always tell the good game arcaders because they're the ones that had a crowd around them. Well, that's what I strive to do, is to have a crowd assemble behind me. And GORF was one of those games that I actually got to that point, and so was Dig Dug. I could score high enough that people were amazed at my score, and they were watching me. Okay. Now, looking at this artwork from ArcadeGraphix, this is kind of a blown up version of the, because if y'all remember the artwork, the photo that I showed you. Oh, geez, I don't like that again. I'm not getting this. I'm not doing very well with the artwork today. But the this is basically a blown up version of the graphic that was the decal that was on the side of a piece of blue wood. So Hey, Gamer Fridge, good to see you. Meatball Saucy, welcome, welcome. And there is the ArcadeGraphix. Yeah, I don't know what's up. The artwork is kind of harder to line up because I have to trim this out. I have to cut it away from the backing, the way it was shipped. And all right, so using the standard application for a decal. Now, I wouldn't do this with the Joe Zabel artwork. I would just normally just whack that on there without any tape. So you all saw my build last week of the Donkey Kong. I mean, it kind of got ugly there for a second because I was his Zabel's artwork is a lot more rigid and a lot more. Well, it's just easier to place. So we for this artwork we use the tape method, and we peel off the backing and then we lay it down. Just apply it side to side. Yeah, Meatball Saucy, you got a lot of choices of artwork that are out there, both from ArcadeGraphix and Joe Zabel. Now, Joe Zabel has posted some new titles, as we discussed earlier, and mostly in the Nintendo realm. Play Choice 10, Super Mario Brothers, Punch Out, and Super Punch Out. So those are options. And ArcadeGraphix added some. So GORF being one of the recently added ones. So there's GORF, and I saw all of the Mortal Kombat cabs out there. A lot of choices. And I did put a link in the description for the ArcadeGraphix store. So check them out. All right, so one side done. It's a little off, but oh well. All right, we're going to do the other side now. Same thing. Make sure this is. Well, I'm not liking this either. Trying to go too fast here. Hey, Stock Jock, welcome. How many of you are having Super Bowl parties today? Me, it's just going to be me and my gal. We're going to sit and watch. Okay. It's cold down here. Oh. So we peel off the backing and cut it away. And just lay it flat. And we take off the tape and we do the other side. No, ArcadeGraphix, as you know, I keep a tight schedule. I appreciate the offer, but yeah, we're just going to be homebodies tonight because we go to bed early, as you know. I'm going to go back to my regular gym schedule tomorrow, so. All right. So I've got my side panels on. That's funny, Zero. I don't know about curing hangovers. All right, so let's do the control panel next. Now we have, this is the other side of that. Again, it comes in a one sheet. But I cut off the side panel pieces first and get them trimmed. But here's your pieces. You've got your bezel, you got your lower panel, and then you've got your coin door panel, and then your control panel. We're going to take the one joystick 3-button piece. And we're just going to lay it down on there. Not to mention the fact, ArcadeGraphix, you live about an hour away from me. So hour and a half, I don't know. All right, control panel done. Let's do the bezel. So here we have the bezel, and obviously we're not going to be doing the lighted ranking system. Now there's two schools of thought on how to do these. You can put the bezel artwork on the actual plastic on the outside, or you can lay it on the bezel like I'm doing, the actual plastic piece. All right, so I got our bezel artwork in place. And let's get the coin door artwork going. This one's a little tricky because of the thin piece. Got some boogers getting in the way here. All right, so, and then we'll do the lip, or what do we want to call it? J panel, if we're using Arcade 1-Up terms. Oh, that went on very bad. Oh. That's better. All right, so we've got our coin door mech, our coin door piece. Artwork's there. Now we got to do the marquee. 0, that's correct. ArcadeGraphix is only on eBay. Okay. So we're going to do the marquee, and here's our marquee for GORF. And on the piece, the GRS Build-A-Cade marquee, now this isn't nice like Jose's. This isn't a direct replacement. So we're going to have to use the Build-A-Cade marquee piece. We got to peel off the protective plastic. This has bitten me before where I've forgotten to peel this off and I put the artwork on and then it just looked horrible. So you want to peel off the plastic protector pieces. And then we want to apply the artwork. Now let's see if if ArcadeGraphix, yeah, see now the GORF artwork is larger than the marquee piece. So we're going to have to trim. So I'm going to need my knife for this. My X-Acto knife. I love ArcadeGraphix artwork, but sometimes it's a pain because the marquee's not cut to size. Where's my X-Acto knife? There it is. Buried. So I'm going to need, I'm going to take it off the top because that's most of that stuff is dead space anyway. So what I'm going to do is use one of my pieces of tape and tape this down. While I work to all right, so we're gonna trim this lip here. Oh, it's moving around too much. That's the problem. Careful not to slice my finger off. Methinks my X-Acto knife's getting a little dull. Not pretty, but it'll do. Okay, take the sides off. Then we're going to do a little trim on the sides as well. All right. So we've done the trimming. Now let's get this sucker on here. I've already removed the backing or the protective tape. All right. Now we got our GORF marquee. See? Not the prettiest, but... Okay, now we can move on into the build. All right, I could probably do this almost blindfolded now. All right, we did all our artwork. Our artwork is done. All we got to do is slap this puppy together, eh? All right, so we start with the base. Okay. And we're going to put the feet on the base. So. Now, GORF came in, it came in a cabaret, and it came in a cocktail form as well as the upright arcade. So it's one of those games that they went all out and did different form factors for. I think the cabaret also had the flight stick, but I know for sure that the cocktail version did not. It was just a joystick, regular old joystick. I have bought quite a few things from Glen Zero. I'm actually thinking about picking up some more. Goofyfoot, to answer your question, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 are built. I have, this will be my 8th, and then I have 2 more after that. So I'm actually thinking about buying some more, but yeah, we'll think about it. All right, so the base is in. Now we got to put our battery in. I'm going to secure the battery in the base. I'm going to need my screwdrivers now. All right, screws. So we are on step 4 now. So we're going to, we've orientated the wire to the rear. The arrow on the, there's an arrow printed on the case that basically tells you where the front is. So we're looking for S6, 2 M3 by 8 millimeter screws. There we go. S6, self-tapping screws. Like I said before, Glenn does a great job of putting all his parts together and marking them and labeling them so that they're easy to find. Seriously. All right. And I realize I've done a lot of these. I mean, most of my live streams lately have been on GRS Build-A-Cades, but I'm not buying any arcade one-ups. This is what I have on hand to putz around with, and I like to do putz streams. I like to basically show you what I'm doing. So it just so happens that GRS Build-A-Cades are my projects. All right, so that step is done. Now we're going to move to assembling the, we're going to move to step 5, which is to prep the monitor. Get that ready to go. All right, so we're going to place the DSI connector, that's this connector right here, on the top. Okay. And then we're going to put oh, we have to remove the protective film from the screen. Yes, we have to do that. So remove the protective film. And now we can put on, okay. Attach the screen mount to the screen with 4 2.5 by 5 millimeter screws. The part number is on the left side. So we have to flip this over because the part number is on this side. So, and now we need the S3 screws. Okay. We're going to screw this plastic piece onto the back of the monitor. We'll call this a mounting bracket because it kind of is for the monitor and the Pi. CornerKid, I'm old. I have CRS, can't remember shit. So while I feel like I am confident enough that I can whiz my way through one of these builds without referencing the documentation, I still need to, there's a lot of screws and there's a lot of different size screws. So I want to make sure I'm using the right screw where it needs to go. So, all right. So now we need the overhang, or we need the screen bezel, which is, that has our bezel artwork. So we're going to attach this to the front of the monitor assembly. And then we're going to use S4 screws to attach that. So let's, okay. Gotta say, I mean, this thing was, I said it last week. I mean, this thing is just engineered really well, the Build-A-Cade. If I can drive home any points, you know, two things. One would be the DSI ribbon cable to connect the monitor to the Pi. Be very careful with that. Be very careful with the connectors, because you can break them. I have. And well, we learn by doing, so I learned. This time last year, I had the one Build-A-Cade that I had a problem building, and I just set it. It wound up sitting on a shelf for 6 months before I went back and revisited it. So now I'm pretty confident in my builds now. Stock, I guess that'd be fun. Let's watch CornerKade build one of these. All right, so we're going to need our standoffs, our gold standoffs here. There's two sizes, 10 millimeter and 20 millimeter. 10 millimeters are going to be first. These are the smaller ones, and they just go into the back of the monitor. You can hand tighten them. They don't have to be fully tight. Oh, Cousin Subs is texting me. They must know it's Super Bowl Sunday. All right, so our standoffs are in. That was step 7. And now we get to the DSI ribbon cable. So we have to gently lift up this connector and lift it up. Do not pull it to the side. You will break it off. That's what I did. And the documentation references the blue side, but this looks black to me. So the black side is to the top. And you just slide the ribbon cable in there till it's all the way in and seated. And then you push down on the black connector. And then it's in there pretty firm. You can lift it up I don't recommend it, but you could lift it up by the DSI ribbon cable and you know that it's in there and locked. Okay, now we want the micro SD ribbon cable. This is the extension cable that extends from, oh, we need to grab the Pi. Yeah, we need to get the Pi out. So here's my Pi, Raspberry Pi 3B. For what I do with these, Raspberry Pi 3 is all I need. This one looks like it's been repackaged, so hopefully it works. Yeah, Raspberry Pi 3B is all I need for my needs. You can use there are parts in the kit to accommodate a Raspberry Pi 4, but I chose the Raspberry Pi 3B because it's just easier to work with, and there are some differences between the models, and I don't know exactly what they are. 2017 is when this was manufactured, so. All right. So we're going to insert the ribbon cable here, the SD card extension. The SD card is on the back side of the Pi. So we've got our extension cable in there. You kind of just got to, and you're going to place it on top of the 4 10mm posts that you put in. And then you just secure the Raspberry Pi down with the 20mm posts. And again, hand tightening's fine. Okay, so our Raspberry Pi is in. Next, we want to connect the DSI ribbon cable to the actual Pi. Now, there's a little fine piece of tape on here securing the DSI port, so I guess so it doesn't bounce around in shipping. I guess I don't know. You got to get that off and then lift it. There it is. And you got to kind of push aside or just bend over a little bit, and then slot your DSI ribbon cable into that connector, the other side. Again, make sure that the black side is facing up. Okay, that's in. So our ribbon cable is connected. That was step 10. Now we need all of our side-mounted cables, and there's a reason why you do this before you mount it in the device, because you can't do it while it's mounted. So we're going to get all of our cables out. There is a cable that you're not going to need in this bunch unless you have a Raspberry Pi 4, but this is a Raspberry Pi 4 power cable. So, but you're not going to need it. Since I'm 3B, I'm not going to need it. We'll set it aside over there. All right, so our side mounted cables. So let's do power. This is your power cable for the Pi 3. And that would go right here into the power port. And then HDMI, which is this cable right here. Okay, that extension is in, and then audio. So we've got our DSI connection here. We've got our SD card extension here. We've got power extension. We've got HDMI extension and then audio extension all connected and ready to go. Okay, now we have to attach the wiring harness. That's the big cable, mesh of cable piece here. And I always undo the bunch so that I can work the cables however I need to. All right, so pin 40 is going to be towards the USB ports. So pin 40 is right down here on this wiring harness. These are the GPIO pins here. So pin 40 for the GPIO pins is down close to the USB port. So we'll locate, it's labeled. So we'll locate pin 40, and it's the purple cable. So we're just going to put this harness in place on the GPIO pins. Make sure it's down all the way. All right, so we're taking shape here. All right, now we're ready to start putting the thing together, eh? So we need side A. That would be this piece. And we're going to lay the monitor assembly. Lay the monitor assembly right in there. It's gonna fit like a glove right in there. All right, now we're gonna do the marquee. And there's two pieces that form the marquee. We're gonna slide our marquee in. There we go. I did cut off, by cutting off the top, I did cut off a little bit of the Midway logo. Oh, well, that's the way it is. It is what it is. All right, now we're going to do the control panel. And we need to plug in the 14-pin connector on the wiring harness, which is right here. All right, so that's done. Slide that right on. The chat's flying. I have not seen Glenn's show from Friday night. Yeah, Meatball. He's added quite a few different choices now, in addition to GORF. All right. What's next? The coin door assembly. Should fit right in there. And now for the plastic screen cover. I don't know if I've surpassed Glenn or not. I think he still has me on the number of Build-A-Cades. There might be somebody else out there that has a ton of these. I don't know. I'm a big fan. Pretty soon I'm going to have to decide what I'm going to do with my little diorama over there in order to make a best display. Okay. All right, plastic piece in place. That was step 17. And now we're going to actually put the side on. And I use as my guide the hole starting with the marquee. There we go, kind of snaps right into place. So the documentation has you slide the top in first. I'm going to put the base in because it's just easier. It goes in easier. And the idea is to hold the cabinet together. All right, so the base is holding the two sides together now. And now I'll do the top. Now, if you guys have seen my streams before, that you know this is where I struggle. Oh, there's a smudge on there. Oh, I got to get that off. Hang on, before I get any further. There's a smudge on the monitor. That's going to drive me nuts. Fortunately, I have a lens wipe here. Must have got my finger on there somehow. All right, back on track. Now we'll do the top. All right, now. Y'all know this is where I struggle. Ah! No, it's not in correctly. Damn it. Don't do that. Shit. There we go. Thought I had it there for a second. Thought it was going to be another record. Come on. There we go. No. Nope. No. Okay. No, Gramps, that's not the case, because I struggled just as mightily without the base in. That's why I started putting the base in first, because it was actually worse, because the thing kept falling apart on me. So I put the base in to give me that extra stability. Oh, stock jock, you bragger. Then fly up here and do this for me. I don't know why I struggle. It's not closing all the way. There. No. Come on. Damn it. What the hell am I doing wrong? This piece is bent out. All right, Stock Jock, we'll give that a try. Well, last week it went in really quick. Oh, no, see, now I messed up my marquee. See, one side will go in and then the other side won't. There it is. All right. Oh, no. Shit. Messed up the marquee. Fuck. Oh, I totally fucked up the marquee. Hey, PD7, good to see you. Some weeks this goes really well, some weeks it doesn't. Oh, that's as good as it's going to get. There's a little minute gap at the top, but that's as good as it's going to get. All right, we'll move forward now. But she's taking shape. All right, now we're gonna work with the LED wiring. So here's our marquee backlight. We need to find the marquee power. Which is right here. We're gonna run it up through the back of this and then plug her right in. And that gets slid into the slot here. There we go. Okay. And now we need the middle brace. And we're going to move all of these wires up to put this brace in. There we go. So now we've definitely got cabinet support with that middle brace in. All right. Now we got to do the USB extension. So we got two USB extensions that I'm just going to plug into the bottom two ports on the Raspberry Pi. I'm trying to plug that into the Ethernet port. That was stupid. Okay, USB extension is in. Now we're going to take the 8-pin connector and the coin door. Wait a minute. All right, so we've got our coin door piece, and we're going to pull out the audio cable cover as much as we can without breaking it. So just be careful. And then we're going to run the 8-pin connector, which is this connector right here, through the front. And we're going to connect it to the back of the coin-in buttons, coin door buttons. And then we're going to snap her into place. Yay, the button works. Sometimes this left button sticks after you snap it into place. That's good. All right, coin door's in. All right, now we're going to start attaching things to the back panel. Again, here's your back panel. You've got your joystick on the back. You've got your volume control. You got buttons 1 and 2, power on off, power input, USB, and then your HDMI. So we're gonna attach the micro SD card extension to the back panel, and that's again going to allow you to plug your SD card in without having to remove the internal. All right, so we need to do that with S4 screws, which are right here. I'm going to get my light for this. Well, that was easier than I thought it would be. Okay. Hockey Town, to answer your question, the only artworks that I've seen for driving cab version would be the Outrun, and that's on ArcadeGraphix eBay store. I haven't seen Zabo do a driving cab yet, but I could be wrong. I'd have to look through his collection again. But right now, the only option I know of is the Outrun artwork that is on the on ArcadeGraphix. Okay, now we're going to attach the HDMI extension. That's going to screw in from the back, so we need S5 screws. 2 S5 screws. And that's going to go, it's going to get screwed from the back. All right. So I need the audio cable now. That goes into the audio port on the back panel. And then we're going to plug in 3 more cables. So the USB power cable, which is the USB cable right here. It's going to go into the USB port on the back panel. And we have our main wiring harness cable here, which goes into the black port at the top of the back panel. Snap that into place. And USB extension, which is W4, plugs into this little bottom port here. Okay. Now we're ready for the battery connection. And we make sure that the power is off. Power is off. And then we plug in the battery. Boom. And now we're ready to button her up. There's a screw loose in there. Got it out. And now you just kind of gently tuck everything in here. Nice and neat. Making sure you're not damaging any wires. And then we'll need to just screw it into place. When this is over, I might do a little bit of GORF gameplay on the Defender ArcadeGraphix. Just so you guys are not familiar with GORF, get a feel for how it looks. All right. And there she is. We need the ball top. You lower this down. All right, she's a beaut, Clark. Defender ArcadeGraphix. I'll read them to you here in a second. So you have on the Defender ArcadeGraphix, you have Gauntlet, Defender, Clax, Rampage, Joust, Bubbles, Root Beer Tapper, Wizard of War, Sinistar, and GORF. A lot of people consider that to be a pretty awesome game lineup. I typically have it on GORF all the time. I'm not a Defender guru, but I do play it every once in a while. Quite a decent game selection. All right, so we're going to put our joystick topper on. All right. We're ready to get some power going. And I use again, I should probably put that link in the description. I use a AC/DC USB with an inline switch. And I also have the USB-C to USB-A version of this cable so that I could plug into USB hubs. So I can do both, but I tend to lean towards the USB-A connector. All right, so I'm getting power. I have a pre-imaged SD card. I'm not going to use Glenn's SD card to go through that install. I got an image to where I want it to be. So I'm going to put that in there. And let's turn this light off. All right. Are we ready for activation here? Let's go. Got our marquee. That's good. Even though I cut off the midway. It's going to boot into Miss Pac-Man because that's the image.
Game
on. Stock Jack, no, he does not. He does not have a flight stick. Now you could buy, you could probably, I don't know if he sells an external controller. All right, so it booted into Miss Pac-Man, but we're going to fix that. I need to know the IP address of this thing. Options. Where's the network settings? Why don't I have a network? Oh, you know why? Because I'm in totally wrong menu. Jesus. Show IP is the, you got to do it from the actual options. I was hitting the emulation station menu. All right, so I'm 192.168, 1.89, 1.89. All right. Okay. Boy, that looks terrible. Yeah, it looks a little better. Not very good at cameraage. Did I say it was 1.86 or 1.89? I'm not sure. Do show IP again. 192, 168, 1.89. There it is. Took a while for the network to prompt me for a password. So the default password. All right, so I'm logged in. So I'll bring that up. Share. Let's do it this way. Okay. So I'm basically using File Explorer in Windows to access the file system on the Build-A-Cade right now. So what we need to change, you've got your ROMs folder, you've got your configs, themes, but what we need is in the BIOS, or is it? Is it BIOS? Yeah. No, it's configs. So configs, all, and then there's this file called autostart.sh. I don't know if you guys can read that. It's kind of tiny. So we're going to go ahead and edit that. Edit in Notepad. First, I needed to get the ROM name. Let's go back. Let's go to ROMs, Arcade. So it's just simply GORF. All right. So configs, all, autostart.sh, edit in Notepad. Bring that over here so you can see it. And then we're going to change it from this Pacman to GORF. And save it. All right. So let's go back and reboot this sucker. Should start right into the GORF. Really restart, yes. I did a little reading on the GORF ROMs, and it seemed like people were happier with the 2000 and May 2010 version. And there we booted straight into GORF. We'll coin in. Kind of hard playing off to the side here, but we'll do. Jeez, I can't hit that guy on the back. Ah. Oh, see, I can't see the bullets because I'm off to the side here. There we go. All right, so now we're getting into the laser attack. Once you knock out those two lasers, it's pretty simple. Ah! Hockey Town, I'm pretty sure you could change the splash screen. It's just a movie file on the operating system. I don't know if it's an option in, it would be an option, UI settings maybe. Yeah, the theme set is GRS Build-A-Cade. No, I don't see it here, but I'm pretty sure there's a file you might be able to change. See if it's under other. No, it's not in here either. I'd have to see, because all it is a movie file that's getting played, and there's a file that you can change. There's Glenn. Hey, Glenn. Thanks, Glenn. I appreciate it. It does look fantastic. I struggled this build again with the top. I mean, getting that top plate on, but whew, I'm going to give it another quick restart here. Again, I apologize for the camera quality, and I'm using my cell phone for kind of my roving camera, and that's what I use during my builds. But all right, so we're booting straight into GORF. That's good. She's a beaut. I do like it. Beautiful artwork, beautiful cabinet. So it's a nice addition to my
my little collection. Now, okay, now that we have it up and running, let's do something that I haven't really done before. So I have, let's bring my camera over here. Excuse me if you guys get motion sickness. I'm going to move my camera. I'll try and do it as slow as possible and as quickly. All right. So this is my Build-A-Cade collection. I kind of aim it. Oh, I've got some light reflection going on here. Let's turn off some. Try to get a better angle. All right, so what I'm going to do is we're going to put GORF over here. It's down in front there. And then I have an HDMI cable. So I haven't really demonstrated the HDMI cable feature. You know, you can plug these things into a TV, right? And of course, my HDMI cable is laying on the floor. And I have to get it back up. And this would be better with two people. Ow! Don't do that at home, folks. All right, so I have my HDMI cable. All right. I forget which input I plugged that cable into. It would help if my remote can see the. Let's go back out to the menu. Options, HDMI screen. Yeah, apparently is HDMI 1. Oh, that's right. It's got to reboot. So now I've plugged in the GRS Build-A-Cade with the HDMI cable in the back. It's running to the back of this monitor. And I went into the options and then chose the HDMI output option. And now it's basically going through its boot cycle. And now we're into GORF. So at this point, I can play the game using the control panel. We'll coin in. And the audio is going. I play a lot better when I'm more directly on. I should have let that one go. Plays pretty well on Glen's control deck here. No! That was laser attack. Now here we are in the Galaxian stage. Ah! I'm better than this. I always like to kill them when they're flying because you get more points for that. Ooh, we got some artifacting here. Maybe not the best ROM. I can find another one, see if that works better. A lot of audio problems with this ROM, this particular ROM. So if you don't find the right one. So this is Space Warp. Used to be really good at, So this particular ROM that I chose, it had better audio with it. So all right, so let's see. I've got it. So now we've got it in HDMI mode. So now we got to take it out of HDMI mode. So you got to do that while you're still plugged in HDMI. And then you get a different looking menu here when you're plugged in via HDMI. So we're gonna need to go. I'm trying to remember where it was. Oh yeah, RetroPie configuration. So let's go back here. So with this different menu on the Build-A-Cade menu, we want to go to the RetroPie configuration menu, and then you've got, there's an option for flipping it back. I believe it was Hockeytown that was asking if you wanted to change the splash screen. You can do it through this menu. Where was the changing it back to? Build-A-Cade screen. There we go. So you got to select Build-A-Cade screen, and then it'll reboot back into the Build-A-Cade's built-in screen. Yeah, I agree, Goofy. I think the PartyCade is the best version.
Game on.
All right, so that was a demonstration of HDMI. Now I've got the GORF back running on the internal monitor. You can kind of see it there. So now, here's the Defender ArcadeGraphix right next. So let's do this one, this version. Turn up the audio. So yeah, I can either do, I did another coin in, so I've got 6 ships. It's not 7 ships, it's 6 ships. So now I've got plenty of ships. Plays a lot better on the Defender ArcadeGraphix.
Robot warriors seek and destroy space audit.
Boy, I'm like a stormtrooper here. Can't hit the broadside of a barn.
European robots attack.
Ah,
Another enemy ship destroyed. I am the European Empire.
all right, here we go, boss mode. Ah. So the goal is to hit him right in the center there. Otherwise, you're just going to be pulling pieces off of it. Damn it. And again, there we go. And here I've been promoted to space captain.
Robot warriors seek and destroy space captain. Prepare yourself for the
Can you just go through the same 5 levels that you went through in round 1? Wow, I'm really sucking today.
European robots attack.
Ah,
Got you, Space Captain. My Orphean robots are unbeatable.
And as these levels progress, they get harder. As you can see, they're spinning a lot faster now and a lot wider. Used to be really good at this level with a flight stick. Ah,
You're in Crossdeck, Space Captain.
I would have had him if I'd have let that shot go.
Survival is impossible, Space Captain.
Boom!
Next time will be harder.
Space
You
Colonel.
get promoted to Space Colonel. Robot warriors seek and destroy Space Colonel.
Ah,
Too bad, Space Colonel. You cannot escape Orphean robots.
Stock Jock, you want to buy my Defender? No, I will never let go of this thing. This has got the best game lineup and the best control panel that Arcade 1-Up has ever done. So I will not let go of this Defender Partycade. If anything, I would buy a kit to build a cabinet out and then put these controls in a larger cabinet. That's it. I would keep. I'm gonna keep this forever.
Long live GORF. Long live GORF. I am the Orphean Empire. Robot warriors seek and destroy Space Cadet. I am the Orphean Empire.
Ah,
So galactic defender you are, Space Cadet. Orphean take no prisoners. Ha 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 ha.
even laughs at you.
My Orphean robots are unbeatable.
Boom.
In the Orphean Chronicles, you can get promoted to Space Captain. You will meet a Orphean Doom, Space Captain.
Oh, are you serious? I walked right into that.
You cannot escape or be in your own box.
No, not going to get me.
Survival is impossible, stay Captain. So galactic defender you are, stay Captain. Scorpion check your prisoners. Knock.
Seriously, that one didn't do it.
Another enemy ship destroyed. Next fight will be harder. You and then promoted to space terminal. You will need a Scorpion Doom space terminal. Light trust space terminal. You cannot escape Scorpion robots.
All right, so my collection has grown. Let's bring my chair back over here. Hoo-wee. Well, that build was a bit of a struggle, guys. I'm not going to lie. Okay, well, that was fun. Hey, I'd like to thank everybody for joining and watching me go through another build. At times frustrating. I really struggle with that top piece. I don't know. I thought I had a system down last week. That went out the window this week. So just going to scroll up through the chat here to see if I didn't miss anything. Oh, okay. Nerds Loudmaster's here. Thank you. Thank you for showing up. Yeah, I think I would have to charge like $2,000 to like go with a ArcadeGraphix. Somebody will pay it, right? What I would like to do is get a hold of one of those Defender cabinets from Arcade 1-Up and then transfer the monitor and PCB over and then redo the control panel into a proper control panel format. That would be cool. All right. She looks beautiful over there, and I gotta make some room. I gotta arrange these in some fashion so that I have like a little diorama going
it'll go on the end there next to Frogger, but I'm running out of table space. I'll have to like start making a circle or something, or just have rows. Maybe I'll do that, just do rows, but I want to make a good looking little mini arcade, I think, somehow. I need to get some like carpeting for the table that they sit on, some reflective carpeting for it. Thanks, Stock Jock. That's so kind. I really appreciate it. Yeah, this is so true, Zero. So true. They had a smash hit. Everybody wants that cabinet, and they won't make more. I don't get it. All right, guys, I'm going to call it. The old fart in me is like hearing the bathroom call. Those of you up my age know what that means. So it's Super Bowl Sunday, guys. If you're partying, if you're going to a party, you know, stay safe, please. Stay safe the entire week. I'll see you next week. We'll probably do another Build-A-Cade. I still have Donkey Kong Jr. and Popeye left, so we'll probably do another Glentendo build of the GRS Build-A-Cade. So I appreciate each and every one of you. If you haven't done so already, hit the like button on your way out. And if you haven't subscribed, please feel free to do so. I won't flood your YouTube streams with a bunch of stuff. I rarely put out videos nowadays. I just do live streams. So I will appreciate a subscription, though, please. I think I'm up to like 257 now, and really happy about that. So I always like to see the number go up. Yes, very much so. I hereby think that phrase is awesome, and we should start calling them Glentendos. So guys, have a good week, safe week. And as always, remember, I got next.